And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. And taking a look at the weather-related headlines here across Alaska, well, we've had some soaking rains, especially areas of south central coming up through the Anchorage Bowl. Some locations receiving over a half an inch of rainfall, so that has knocked down those high pollen counts. We had some rather high pollen counts last week into this weekend over south central. And another low pressure and front is going to come out of the North Pacific, crossing the Alaska Peninsula tomorrow afternoon and evening, and that's going to force another front across the Gulf with more rain and breezy conditions as we go through midweek. But it looks like at least there in the Panhandle, you'll have some drier weather tonight and especially during the daytime on Wednesday before the next round of rain and breezy conditions moves in for Wednesday night and on Thursday. And so far, this river breakup season has been rather uneventful and mild, especially there on the Yukon River. Highlight that in a moment. Overall, though, we're still looking for cooler than normal temperatures to persist across the northern mainland, especially north of the Yukon River, up along and north of the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast, as well as across the southeast through much of the Panhandle, and that could persist right up through Memorial Day here toward the end of the month. So no big signs of any warm ridges shaping up to give us summer-like temperatures anytime soon. Tanana, though, partly sunny, 47 degrees, and the Yukon River is just moving along. A lot of open water on a number of locations. We do have some ice still flowing on through. We'll highlight where some places where some things are happening. But otherwise, Sand Point, low clouds, that's low stratus and fog, 44 degrees. And that area of low pressure tomorrow coming out of the North Pacific will be crossing over your location there and toward the central portion of the Alaska Peninsula. And another piece of that energy coming northeastward up toward the western Gulf. Anchorage, partly sunny, 51 degrees. These are kind of some lower mid clouds, altocumulus clouds, 51. It was a soggy day, though, on Monday. As I mentioned, some areas of Anchorage picked up over a half inch of rainfall, which helped to knock down those high pollen counts. And then Wrangell, mostly cloudy, 52 as of this mid-afternoon. There's still a few scattered light showers lingering there in parts of the Panhandle, but things will begin to dry out tonight. And certainly for the daytime on Wednesday will be a drier day across the Panhandle before the next round of rain and wind arrives as we go into Wednesday night, especially Thursday. So no watches, warnings, or advisories. These are hydrologic statements for areas along the Yukon and Koyukuk rivers. And as far as how is river breakup progressing, pretty nicely considering we had a lot of snowpack up here through the interior. And fortunately, it's been more of a thermal breakout where the ice tends to mush out and then flow along. So the breakup front has worked its way down near St. Mary's, and there's still some minor ice flows here along areas of the middle Yukon, but nothing that would cause any problems as far as significant ice jamming at this point, and that's good news. Looking at fire danger, well, with the rains that came through with that low pressure in front, the low is still sitting out here in the Bering, but the front that pushed on up into the southwest interior and to south central. The rains with that front have really knocked down the fire danger threat. We still have a few areas of higher fire danger due to the fact it's grass. The grass is the greatest carrier of fire early in the fire season, but nothing shaping up to warrant a greater concern such as any type of red flag warnings. Now on the satellite imagery, we can see that back here, clouds are increasing again across the North Pacific, being pulled back up toward the eastern Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula. We have the one low sitting out here in the central Bering. That low is going to pull southwestward back across the western Aleutians, while this next low comes up from the south. It's going to come up around Sand Point and split, going into the lower southeast Bering, and while another piece rides northeastward up toward the western Gulf. And this system will have some more gale force winds, perhaps some low-end storm force gusts, along with more rain as it spreads north and eastward during the day on Wednesday. So here's the map as of late this Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. trough of low pressure along the Alaska Range, pretty typical. Things drying out within the Panhandle. And here comes that next area of wind and rain lifting out of the North Pacific. This low heading more southwestward. For Wednesday, the low will be crossing the area of the Alaska Peninsula around Sandpoint as we go through Wednesday afternoon and evening. The other low swinging back toward the south and west, so that by Thursday afternoon we have the main low that came up out of the North Pacific, kind of between the Pribilovs and Kuskokwim, Bristol Bay. We have the old low from this weekend sinking southward across the western half of the Aleutians, and then a weak secondary low coming up around Kodiak Island and up into the Gulf. This front, the occluded front, will be weakening, but it does have a band of rain and breezy conditions with it that'll spread up along the Panhandle into the Panhandle Wednesday night and Thursday. Some of the stronger winds will actually occur with this system on Wednesday as it comes up through Kodiak Island and up around Katmai region and the entrance there of Cook Inlet. And by Friday, the system's overall just kind of weak in the remnants of that secondary low in the northern Gulf, with just a trough hanging along the outer coast of the Panhandle to Haida Gwaii. We still have this interior trough in through northwest Canada back toward the Alaska Range. There'll be a focus of some scattered mixed rain or snow showers pop up with the daytime heating, and then a weak low with the low that just recently came up out of the North Pacific, sitting there between St. Paul and Nunavik Island. So temperatures still chilly tonight. There could be some readings in the single digits up along the Arctic coast, North Slope, Anatuvik, Adigan passes. Temperatures getting down below freezing along areas of the middle upper Yukon Valley. We're expecting readings to stay above freezing in most areas in south central, certainly along the Gulf Coast in through the Panhandle, and then certainly down here through the Alaska Peninsula. And with increasing clouds with this next system coming up out of the North Pacific toward the Alaska Peninsula, warmest temperatures on Wednesday will be in the interior, places like Fairbanks on over toward, say, Kaltag, Huslia, or down toward here, McGrath could be up near 60 degrees. And we could see some readings mid-50s, the southern Panhandle. You can get a little bit of sun in the lower Matsu Valley, readings getting back up into the mid, maybe even upper 50s as well. Thursday morning, still could be a single-digit reading up there in the North Slope or around Adigan Pass or Anatuvik passes. Otherwise, teens along the Arctic coast. Again, potentially some areas dipping below freezing if you have clear, partly cloudy skies in the east central interior. But with that next surge of moisture coming northward across the southwest and trying to pull up into the western Gulf, readings will stay above freezing Thursday morning, early Thursday morning, and then back here through the Panhandle, lows generally above 40. For Thursday afternoon, we could still see temperatures back up around or just above 60 there, middle Yukon Valley, upper Kuskokwim River, and back on up toward, we get up through the lower Tanana Valley all the way up back toward Fairbanks, could be rather mild, whereas most of the rain with the next system will be confined along the Gulf Coast, areas of the southwest coast, and then spreading more rain into the Panhandle late Wednesday night and especially Thursday morning and afternoon. And the extended temperature outlook, May 19th through the 23rd, and this is true just going beyond that until May 27th, which would take us into Memorial Day weekend. It's looking like the northern part of the state, especially north of the Yukon River, will see cooler than normal temperatures persist, as will areas of the Panhandle, with the likelihood of the Panhandle being a bit cooler than their normals, likely here up through the end of the month, and maybe a little above normal across the southwest, Dillingham, King Salmon, down across at least in through the Alaska Peninsula. And precipitation-wise, we still anticipate there could be some above normal precipitation along the Alaska Range, Fairbanks, Northway, and in through the Panhandle, and including areas along the Gulf Coast all the way up to the Arctic coast. But again, we've seen these systems spread at times moisture northward, and the greatest rain out from that tends to occur here, is at least projected to be in through areas of the interior along and north of the Alaska Range, and then back down through the Panhandle, maybe a little drier than normal around the YK deltas into Bristol Bay and the Alaska Peninsula.